Good evening, guys. Is it evening or afternoon? Late afternoon. Um, just thought I should quickly share my thoughts on. Um, I've been dealing with a lot of traumatized people, depressed people, um, both in the workplace, my patients, and also on a personal level with friends and stuff. And must say it's not easy. It's not an easy time for anyone right now. I think a lot of people are going through stuff, and it's a mess. It's really a mess. Um, I don't want to take a long time, but I think a lot of people um, have found themselves struggling to define themselves outside of things that they defined themselves around. And I'm not saying it's everyone, but I think a lot of us as human beings, it's human nature. We tend to define ourselves uh, by the materialistic positions we own, by the relationships we have, whatever type of relationship, by the titles we hold, by our socioeconomic status. And what this period has done effectively, it's in an instant taken away all of that. So today, it doesn't matter whether you are a doctor, whether you are a CA, it doesn't matter whether you are a chief comrade in your community. It doesn't matter whether you drive an X5 or a Tez. It doesn't matter whether you stay in a mansion or not. Well, maybe it does, but it's not really relevant to all of us. So now, suddenly, people have had to define themselves outside of all of those things. Who are you as a person? Who are you as an individual? That's where people struggle, because they define themselves by all these things that are not permanent, are not fixed, things that can be taken away, things that can lose meaning or value, which is precisely what has happened. And now they're struggling to cope because all of these things that they use um, to sort of um, what's the word now? Um, yeah, my English sometimes. But they use these things to boost their self-esteem, their self-confidence. And now all of these things have been taken away, or they've rather lost relevance, let me put it like that. So now you don't know who you are outside of these things. Today I don't care about your Ferrari. Ferrari is parked in the garage. We're on lockdown. I don't care if you fly uh, 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 business class or economy, because no one is flying. I don't care if you're always flying every week or every day, because no one is flying. I don't care if you stay in a mansion or in a ghetto. It's irrelevant to me. And all of a sudden, I don't care about your your millions in the bank account, because what are they gonna do for you now? You can't buy anything, or couldn't buy most things. You can't create tabs of 100,000 rands at Taboo or wherever you, Cubana, wherever you did. So who are you? Who are you as an individual? What are you contributing to humanity? What are you contributing to this earth? And as I said, it's not all people, but I think people find themselves in this dilemma now. Relationships have been tested. Other people have been forced into confined spaces, because those of us who grew up in matchbox houses in the townships, we know what it's like to be cramped up in a house, and there's 8, 9, 10 of you in one house, like 2 bedrooms, kitchen, and what you would call a lounge. And now winter is coming, and you can't be outside playing anymore. So you suddenly have to be in this space with all these people, confront all the issues that you've been trying to avoid, because we run away from confronting issues. You go out to your friends, you go keep busy at work or whatever you keep busy with, but all of a sudden you can't do that. You find yourself confined in the space with all these people, and now you have to confront issues that you've been running away from. You have to confront the personality qualities from the people around you that you've been trying to avoid dealing with. So it's really been a problematic time for a lot of people, and it begs one to really introspect. I know we don't like to introspect, because sometimes you discover things about yourself that you'd rather stayed, at the subconscious level. But it really begs one to delve deep into their, to their spirituality or to their soul, and to find out who they are. To do, I always advocate and say that we are not what we own. We are not the titles that we have been given by society. We are more than that. And one always needs to define themselves outside of those things, because those things are not permanent. And I'm not saying that I'm doing great, because I've got my own issues, but not related to these things that I've mentioned. But I've got my own issues that I'm dealing with. But at least I can cut the load that I'm carrying, by not having to face those issues, because those are issues that I've dealt with a long time ago. Issues of materialism. I'm not phased. I just had a conversation now, with a friend of mine about the car that I drive, and we're joking around, because I live in Cape Town, and Cape Town cars are not really a thing. Yeah, we do love our cars as guys, but it's not like you're under pressure to drive a BM or whatever. You drive what you want to drive, what you can afford to drive at the time. And we were joking about that, and talking about priorities. And this is the car that I drive, and if you can see it, don't know if you can see it, but yeah,